Yeah, that's absolutely true, and it's interesting. I have a little story to tell. When I set my alarm clock this morning, I have to get up at 4:30 to get into the station for the 7 o'clock show, and the alarm went off at 4:30, and I looked at the clock and I said, "Oh my God, my clock must be broke. I don't need to get up this early." So I went back to sleep. Well, lucky I have a second alarm that goes off at 4:50, so it goes off at 4:50, and I said, this isn't right. And I went back to sleep thinking about the fact that my clock must be broken. So when was I going to fit in my day today to go out and buy a new alarm clock?
Okay.
That is an example of how easy the human mind is manipulated, because all of a sudden then it clicked and I said, oh my God, I got to get out of the house by 5:30. Now I'm running late. But that's just how easy our mind can be manipulated, even by our own selves.
Yes.
So it is no doubt that the media being controlled by the leftists in this world, it's no doubt that people's minds can be convinced when it's right in front of their face that Democrats have controlled the cities, the major urban areas, for decades and decades and decades, and yet they aren't responsible for what has happened to the cities in the urban areas. I mean, that's the problem. It is so easy to manipulate the human mind, quite frankly, Del.
Yeah, and people have selective amnesia. They Democrats, liberals, now progressives, and community organizers and socialists, they all know that you can say anything, and the president found this out early too. That you can say one thing, people won't remember what you said just a couple of weeks ago. But one thing about that we have that's so awesome today is that you can go back and you can pull up a person's history on everything they said. It's called YouTube.
That's true, but I'll tell you something. I right now I'm researching for this. We're having the showing of Sayora M.
Yes,
the stoning of Sayora M. This Tuesday in Troy at the Polish American Cultural Center at 6 o'clock in the evening. And so I'm doing a lot of research on the great divide that has been throughout history, throughout the world, between Christianity and Islam. And so I'm trying to research the background of the clashes of civilization that have happened throughout history. And it's very difficult to know what is accurate because it depends on which website you go to, depends on which YouTube you turn on. You hear a completely different perspective of what the issue is. So I've come to the conclusion that it's almost impossible to really know the truth unless we're living in it. Now, we are living in this truth right now, and we can see what's going on and what's happening and people's heads being chopped off but if they don't believe in Islam. I don't remember hearing or seeing anyone's head chopped off for not converting to Christianity. Do you remember that? Do you remember that, Del?
Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I just went to the religionofpeace.com if you want to go and get information at religionofpeace.com. Since 9/11, there have been 27,793 attacks, individual attacks around the world. And the president, I'm going to play this on the other side of the break. I'm going to play a soundbite from the president. He went to a mosque. This is something we didn't get a chance to share last week. He went to a mosque and still, want to make Islam this peaceful religion that's no different than going to a church, a synagogue, and so on and so forth. So we're going to play that on the other side of the break. But here, listen. Hey, I kind of got off track. Let's talk about, give us a call, 734-822-1600. Let's talk about a little bit about New Hampshire. Christy, where's his votes going? Where is Carly's votes? Where are some of their supporters going? Is it that they didn't really have enough supporters, that it's insignificant? The Democrat debate, I mean, I saw just two thieves, two liars on the stage. And I saw that somebody was just pushing Hillary further and further. Matter of fact, Derek, if you don't mind, can you play for me? Okay, play 215 for me.
Okay, last question. We're running out of time. I want to try to help you.
Hold on just a minute, Derek. Pause for a minute. I just want to set this up. This is Chris Matthew. He asking Hillary, And again, this is people in her own party that's driving. They're all trying to drive the party farther and further. And I believe that this is my theory that I don't believe that Bernie is going to win anything. He's not going to win the nomination. She has already been promised this, but I see that they're using Bernie to take her farther. I mean, I've never seen anything so unprecedented that she has to keep going farther to the left than that I believe that she really want to. Now, she's a leftist, absolutely. But Chris Matthews asked her a question. I just want to set the stage for something. Okay, go. You can go ahead and finish, Derek.
Okay, last question. We're running out of time. I want to try to help you, for this audience tonight, our audience, locate yourself politically in this country. Now, we have Trump out there, and we have Bernie out here. Now, Bernie calls himself a socialist. Nobody uses a derogatory term anymore. He loves to have that label. He's never ran as a Democrat. He runs against Democrats up there in Vermont. You're a Democrat. I'd say you're a pretty typical Democrat in the tradition of the Democratic Party. And Humphrey, the rest of them, Scoop, not even Scoop, I'd say Mondale, you're somewhere in there. What's the difference between a socialist and a Democrat?
Well,
is that a question you want to answer, or would you rather not?
Well, you'd have to ask.
Well, see, I'm asking you. You're a Democrat. He's a socialist. Do you?
Yeah.
You see,
deflect, distort.
She really couldn't answer it. I mean, it's hard because we can see that the party has been taken over by socialists. It's just been taken over. And we want to say good morning to Bruce. What's the difference between a Democrat and a socialist?
Man, oh man, I don't know. And I may have sounded a little bit like Hillary there for a moment, but I think maybe she couldn't come up with an answer because she wasn't screaming.
Good morning, Bruce.
My God, it's these robots, these mind-numbed idiots that stand behind people like Sanders and Hillary, just bobbing their heads like some giveaway at a baseball game or something like that. They don't know what they support. I mean, I've seen some of this stuff. CNN themselves cornered a few Bernie supporters, and they could not define what socialism is. We have a dumbed down electorate that is just really it scares the living daylights out of me. But guys, what I called about really was this disgrace of a halftime show. Mm-hmm. And just the blowback that Beyonce and her dancers have gotten. I know Jesse Lee Peterson was absolutely appalled at it. I listened to some of his a clip of some of his remarks on his talk show from Los Angeles, and David Clark is just up in arms over it too. The great sheriff in Milwaukee County. This is disgraceful, Del.
It was disgraceful.
What did you think?
Well, here, matter of fact, that's number 5 on the agenda. The Super Bowl halftime anti-police rally. It was an anti-police rally. A matter of fact, the Detroit, one of the Detroit, a Detroit police officer,
sergeant, 17-year sergeant.
He ran a ad, he wrote an article for the Detroit News about this right here and compared it with the Ku Klux Klan, and I think he went a little too far, not because it wasn't absolutely, I believe that it was absolutely, it's no different, but we have an electorate that don't know history. We have people that
absolutely
don't.
Right.
And so when you use something like that, when people that don't know that they identify with the party that started the Ku Klux Klan, and they feel like they're too intelligent. We're too smart to fall for something like that, to identify with our former oppressor. And so he put himself in a bind. Matter of fact, the New Jersey Troopers Union blast Beyonce for a halftime police show, her halftime show of anti-police. And so, that's something that was right at the top of our agenda, that was in the agenda, and I found it, I watched the game, and when I saw her come out with this bathing suit on, my daughter wanted to watch the game with me. I had to take her out, and so I didn't see and that's when I heard about it later. Yeah. Because I didn't watch it, but man, once I went back and looked at it, oh my goodness gracious, you can tell what it was.
Yeah, well, Del, do you remember what she did a couple of years ago? I mean, she just basically did almost an X-rated show out there in front of tens of thousands of football fans, plus hundreds of millions of people going out across the globe. And a couple of things real quick before you get on your break.
Because
and
let me just say this right here, Bruce. It's children that watch these games too. Children.
Yeah, well,
Children,
she and that waste of a human life husband of hers, Jay-Z, donated $1.5 million to Black Lives Matter. And
I wouldn't doubt it.
And they're making it sound, these folks are making it sound like there's an all-out war on Black Americans by police officers. Yet twice as many white suspects were killed by police officers as were blacks. I think 320 some to 140.
Well, it's interesting because as we're talking, I agree with Del. I didn't really even watch the darn thing because I'm so tired of this focus on sexuality, and that's all I really saw was a bunch of sexy black ladies dancing on the stage. But then the narrative then all of a sudden becomes that they were supporting the Black Panthers and against police officers. And what happens this week? 5 police officers were shot this week in cities across the country. 2 of them dying in Maryland. That's the major news of the day. And so is there a correlation, again, between what the media and their promotion, their focus of issues, like the halftime performance of Beyonce now being tied to Black Panthers, now against the law enforcement community, which then all of a sudden we have 2 more police officers killed. Yeah,
and then let's not forget the machete attack in Columbus, Ohio.
Absolutely. We've got to get control of the narrative of the media. That's all there is to it. We've got to get control, and that's what we're doing here on Art of Michigan.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Have a great day, and thank God for the thin blue line.
All
Thanks,
right.
Bruce.
Thank you, Bruce. All right, Jimmy, hang on. We'll see you on the other side of the break.